Sportscast crew, welcome back to another week episode with your host, Mr. ESPN, where we discuss everything sports and the business behind it. I'm here with my other host, Dub. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good. I want y'all to know he does that every time without a telegram, bro. So, kudos to my man, Vladdy Waddy, man. What up, bro? How you feeling?
I'm great. It's Super Bowl week. My team is in the Super Bowl, so that's always great.
That's nice. That's nice.
We are down to the last two teams in this great NFL season. Chiefs, Eagles, for all the marbles coming up. We got for the first time two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, so we're making history there. So whoever wins,
Black
that's
Month on
plus,
Black Month. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
On Black History Month, the best month of the year, the best month of the year.
Oh, you a February baby, ain't you?
Yeah.
Oh, we lit. We'll talk about that after.
Talk about that later, but let's get started. So we have one hell of a playoffs, a lot of big games, a lot of upsets, a lot of big performances, and now we down to the two number one seeds of both conferences. We're down to possibly, the top two MVP candidates. And we're down to the best offense versus the best, well, second defense. And the NFL left standing. So let's go ahead, cap it off. So Pat Mahomes, let's start there. He's going to his third Super Bowl appearance in 5 years, with no Tyreek this time. How do we look if he's able to pull this off? Where do we start talking about Pat Mahomes as far as his impact, his legacy to the game? And obviously, I mean, at this point, I think he's a first ballot, right? First ballot Hall of Famer.
If he in this current trajectory, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for starters, Super Bowl is on my brother's birthday. I just want to shout that man out. That's dope stuff. So happy birthday, Edwin. That's gonna be real cool. But yeah, to the game. Can I backtrack before we go to Patrick's legacy? I need to talk Coach Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Reid can potentially be the coach version of like an Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't win this game. I almost think like on paper, I think the Eagles should win this game. However, I think the Chiefs need to win this game when we talk in legacy talk. So like before we get to Patrick, Andy Reid now has been to 4 Super Bowls, 1 with Philly, 3 with Kansas City.
Correct.
And so far only has 1 to show for it. He's been to like every NFC and AFC game of the millennium. he went to like 4 straight with Philly. Mm-hmm. And now with Kansas City, he's gone to like every single one since Patrick has been the starter. So, and with all that and only 1 Super Bowl ring to show for it, Andy Reid, my man, you have, in my mind, he's got to win this. I mean, we already think he's one of the better coaches of, this generation of all time. Everybody, he's very well respected. I'm not, no disrespect, but I think Coach Reid, when we talking legacy, Coach Reid has got to win this Super Bowl. Again, because he just got too many almost, and that's why I said he's like the coach version of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a multiple time MVP. You got him on your team, you got a chance, all that kind of stuff.
And he's going to the playoffs,
but he only has 1 Super Bowl. And that's always gonna be, he's a really good player, but he's not the GOAT. And so Andy Reid, he's in that conversation when it comes to coaching. Now, when it comes to Patrick, I think he's on his way to that conversation too. When we talking legacy, so I think he needs to win this Super Bowl. We take it back to his first AFC game. If not for a pretty bad flag on that offsides, they probably beat the Patriots and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they probably beat the Rams.
That was the Rams. Yeah, probably. But who knows? And then they get their chance with San Fran. They finish the job. Mm-hmm. Then they go against Tampa, and Tampa, like that. Kansas City's O-line was just not ready to play. They were hurt, everything. And then, they lost a really bad one with Cincinnati last year. I mean, granted, they avenged that loss, but, regardless, last year, most thought that Kansas City had more business playing the Rams
Yeah, exactly.
than Cincinnati did.
Yeah.
So far, Patrick has been a multiple time MVP. He has all the yards. He's a good chance he could win it again this season. He has the touchdowns, the yards, and all this stuff, and he has one Super Bowl ring to show for it. I think you want to start racking them up so you can so you can think about sitting at that table with that guy that just retired, so like at least
that
the
table
start.
is not going to be touched, but get close. Yeah,
I know, but I mean, he wasn't perfect in Super Bowls, but 7 for 10 is pretty darn good,
yeah.
So
20 years, yeah.
exactly. So Patty, you got to start racking them up, because now you're already a Super Bowl champ, but if we talking legacy,
Let's see, yeah.
that means you got to start having like multiple, like hardware. But
I agree on the Pat Mahomes one. I'm not gonna put so much on the Andy Reid one only because of, I mean, look at the game. NFL is any given Sunday sport. It's not like the NBA, where you get 7 games. If you backtrack, that Philly Super Bowl, Terrell Owens is coming off a major injury. So I didn't see them being the Patriots.
I don't want to hear it. He went off, but
He
go
did
on.
go off though. He did go off. Terrell Owens did go off, but I think the Patriots were favored in that one. The Kansas City one in 21. Let's be real. Pat Mahomes was looking like Russell Wilson in Seattle out there, just running for his life all game, trying to make miracles. But I will agree. I mean, they usually do say in the NFL, once you get that second one, that's when you start really getting submitted. Because not too many people have 2 Super Bowls, whether that's coaches or players. Andy Reid is obviously much, much older, so his time might not be on his side as far as chances. But for Pat Mahomes, I feel differently only because if you lose this one, okay, well, he's 1 for 3. Cool. Well, what if he go rip off 4 straight? We're not even gonna look at this loss no more. So he still has a lot of time. Pat Mahomes is still only 27 years old. He probably still has another 12 more years to play. So if he just goes undefeated for the rest of his attempts, which he possibly could, I could see him going to 2, 3 more. These 2 losses probably not going to, matter in the next decade or so. But I will say how you win them does matter too. The way this season kind of started. Also we all know that win against the Bengals with that injury is going to stick in a lot of people's minds. So why not just top it off with a Super Bowl ring so you can have that fairy tale story to tell for years to come. That's what we love about sports. That's the thing that people love about Jordan, Mike, LeBron, all that is that fairy tale story ending. That definitely will help his case. But I don't see it like that only because again, Pat Mahomes has a lot of time. If he was in Aaron Rodgers' shoes right now, then I'd be like, yeah, you gotta win this. You're almost on your way out. But Pat Mahomes, he's not even 30 yet. He lose this one. Hey, Brady lost 3. You still got one more to lose before you can get to that losing record. So still
I
can go
can't
rip off.
disagree more. What are you saying? Like, what are you saying?
And I'm only saying this because he's playing my team. Now, if he wasn't playing my team, I was like, he has to win this one. But
Oh, so I mean, okay, then you should have
yeah,
started with that.
yeah.
You should have started with that as
Mhm.
a bias, person, whatever. You want your team to win. I get that.
Mhm.
I get that. Well, but when it comes, I mean, you got to win now. We have no idea what
What
tomorrow is
happened?
going to
Yeah,
happen.
that's true. You
Yeah,
don't know
so
what's going to happen tomorrow.
you
Yeah.
need to win now. And to go back to your Andy Reid point, I mean, yeah, I guess there's a but on every win and loss in all of sports history.
Absolutely.
But regardless, all we can do is go by the stats. And what I know about Andy Reid has lived in NFC and AFC championship games. And out of and all of those, like he's been to like 9 of those and has and made it to the Super Bowl 3, 4 times or whatever now.
Yeah.
I just think, and with only one ring to show for it, hey man, I don't know. And to me, it screams somebody that can be just about
It
there.
does. Yeah. Absolutely.
And back to your Patrick point, But you got to win now because, yes, you are pretty much getting crowned as, I mean, you're crowned as the best quarterback in the league.
That's for
You
sure.
know, there's not too many people putting him number 2. So, after that, you gotta rack him up now, man. So
Yeah, and I mean, and he also has a lot of these young guys coming in. You got Joe Burrow, who's in the stride early. We don't know what's gonna happen with Lamar, but you got Joe Burrow, you got Josh Allen right under you. They right on those hills. Their teams can win just as much as your team. So, like you said, you might not have another chance for another 3-4 years to go back. We don't know.
sure, you might not. I
LeBron, I
mean, he
mean, not
squeezed one
LeBron,
out against Cincinnati. So
but Brady at one point, I think he went on like a 7-year stunk, not even reaching the Super Bowl at one point. So
it was still always threatening, though.
yeah, he was always teasing with it, but he didn't make it. But speaking of the Chiefs, at this point, what is it going to take for the Chiefs to win it all against the Eagles? I know the Eagles have all stars, Pro Bowlers, all pro on both sides of the ball. From your standpoint, what is it going to take for the Chiefs to pull this one out?
Ah, man, for the Chiefs to pull this one out, one, hopefully these 2 weeks do it for Patrick's ankle sprain. Because a high ankle sprain, that's just a step below
Mhm.
possibly snapping your fibula. So, that's obviously a tough injury. So with the assumption that he's okay, I think because the Eagles offense is tough to stop. Kansas City could put up points, but I think at best their best player, and to me, who was their best player in the Cincinnati game, is going to have to show up again, and that's Chris Jones. Chris Jones, we all know, is a stud All Pro lineman
Yep.
for the Chiefs, and obviously, Cincinnati doesn't run the same offense as Philly, so they're gonna spread him out and make him move and stuff. But I think Chris Jones has to find a way to impact this game when it comes to pressuring. Make Jalen win. Um, make him have to, because we're gonna have to stop the run, and that's nearly impossible against Philly. But so Chris Jones is gonna have to be pretty impactful. That whole D line is gonna have to be impactful because I truly think Philly's best Philly's best weapon is their O line. They truly they really move people and make them look like babies, bro.
Start with
So,
Jason Kelce.
huh? Yeah, starting with Jason Kelsey. So
Yeah.
I think if Kansas City can somehow win in the trenches on a defensive end, then they can win this game. So, but
Be
that's
tough.
the toughest part
Be
because I
tough.
think the Eagles' best part of their, as crazy as their defense has been and stuff, I think their offensive line is wild elite. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You definitely when you got two all pros and Lane Johnson and Jason Kills, that definitely helps a lot. Um I would say definitely the X factor will be the Chiefs defense because we know what the offense can do. Um However, a lot of people sleeping. The Chiefs were the number 2 leading sack leaders as far as a unit this season outside of the Eagles. I know they're not known to make stops per se, but they have gotten to the quarterback this year. Now would they be able to do that against this old lineman? We'll have to see. That task will be remain to be seen. But um, I honestly think if they get in a shootout, that wouldn't be in their best interest. They would definitely have to make our offense work. I think they would definitely have to make Jalen a pocket passer. Not saying he can't be one, but if he's dual threat running and passing, then you're done. That game over.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. You gotta want you in your it's in your best interest to make him win with his arm. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't think. I mean, some might call me a hater, but I mean Jalen is probably the number 4 or 5 reason that Philly's as successful as they are. But his arm is really not part of the equation in my eyes quite as much. But so I think if they can somehow, and I don't really know how it's going to happen, which is why I'm picking Philly to win, even though I don't want them to. But if I had to put paper on it, then shoot, I need my paper. So you know what it is.
I agree.
But yeah, if you can find a way to negate their run game between Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, and Jalen Hurts,
And
Boston
Scott.
Scott,
Yeah, Boston Scott.
make Jalen have to throw that thing to them receivers. And we know they got stud receivers. That's not, we know that, but that's your best shot. So Yeah, man. That's what it is on that, bro.
So turn it over to the other team. I'm assuming for the Eagles to win, you're basically saying keep the same formula, run the ball down their throat, make stops
Oh
from
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you win up front. That's what you've been doing all year. Those five guys is why you are successful on offense. Their defense has been wild nice, of course. I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of a team that had like I think Philly had four people with double digit sacks. Like that's absurd.
Yeah,
Most
we had
teams
four.
most
Yeah.
teams lucky if you have one, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Giants fan. I didn't have one person with double digit sacks. So y'all had four of them, but that's an elite part of your team too. But the offensive line, they win, it's a wrap. I mean, we know Patrick could put up points, but if Philly keeps running the ball and keeping Patrick on the bench, then
You
what points
lost.
can he put
Yeah,
up?
points you lost.
Like,
That's a
you
fact.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's all Philly got to do to win this game. We all know Philly. I mean, you watch a game. Philly maybe has like three different formations or three different plays, bro. They just run different stuff through from those things, and it all starts with the threat of the run.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There you
they
go.
do that. Shoot, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's somehow a double digit win. I
Are you
wouldn't be
what you calling
surprised.
2 touchdown victory for the Eagles?
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, if yeah, no less than a touchdown field goal. So 10 points is
Wow.
like I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's put it that way. Like, I don't think like Philly to win, if it needs to come down where Philly needs to make a drive for a field goal, I don't like the chances like that. I think
Now,
Philly just got to
is
come
my
out and
question
make
only
it.
because we never been in that circumstance, or you just truly believe that the offense can't do it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, A, you've never been in that predicament, and B, like I said, I think Jalen's throwing is the 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 least reason of your offensive success, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is forced to drive, I don't know, a 90-yard thing, it's not saying it's impossible. I know he had a game, I think against the Colts where he made that kind of drive. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying that's in your best interest to make that happen.
Not his forte.
you
Yeah,
know,
it's not his number
you
one
see what I'm
thing.
saying? Yeah. So
So predictions for the final result. Are you going Eagles by 10 plus all the way, or a little bit closer? And then who you have for MVP also?
yeah, I can see this one ending 30-20. Let's call it that.
30, 27.
Let's
Two,
call it that.
two
Let's call
field
it
goals,
30.
2 touchdowns by the Chiefs. Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, like I want to say it can be as high scoring as that Philly Patriots one when like both quarterbacks threw for like 500 yards.
Boy.
But who knows?
Yeah.
It could very well be 30-20. It could be 45-35. I mean,
I'd rather
whatever.
45, 35.
I mean, I will say I'm picking Philly to win. Um, as much as it pains my soul. Like I clearly do not want to see Philly win this game.
Hey, hey, why don't you
Um,
just be like Marco Parsons, winning for the division? Just be happy for
no, that's the weakest comment I've ever heard. I was like, I couldn't believe. I was like, only a cow bum would say something like that. I'm like, you know what? You know what's crazy to me? The draft when Micah,
Missed out on
we
him.
passed on Micah, or we could have gotten Micah Parsons. But I'm like, in hindsight, if he was on my team and he said that, I would have been so. The fact that we lit the Empire State in green, I was like, what the heck is happening? I was like legit, I was like, what is going on? Like, no, you're my division rival. Like, that's it. I only root for the NFC and the Pro Bowl, and now the Pro Bowl is lame, so I don't even care.
Yeah,
But like,
like football.
yeah, that's something else. That's another conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I can't understand Micah's comments on that one. I really can't.
Well, I guess I mean he's not really I guess rooting. He's just rooting to make the division look good. So when they talk about it, say, "Hey, what division got the most Super Bowls?" I mean, even you don't have them.
What? That
Yeah,
doesn't
I don't
magically
get the logic, but hey,
you got
appreciate
to
the support.
watch what? You got to be a front row loser. Like that's what? Like that's all that means to me. Like get out of
Yeah,
here.
because like
Heck,
I said, in the past 15 years, the only teams in that division that really got rings is us and the Giants. So and the Cowboys. But hey, appreciate the support, Micah. We'll take it and we'll win it for the
I,
division just for you.
I,
Uh, Super Bowl MVP. If the Chiefs win, obviously I'm assuming Pat Mahomes.
If Philly wins, I mean, which I'm picking Philly to win, so I guess I'm just gonna assume that Jalen would be the MVP. I
You know what's
mean,
crazy? I don't think so. I don't.
who
I
would you
don't.
give it to?
I think it's more guaranteed that if the Chiefs win, Pat will get it. But not saying Jalen won't get it if the Eagles win. But I don't. I think it really depends on how the game goes. Because like, if miraculously Devontae or AJ have a killer game, like Devontae did in the national championship against Ohio State, like he just went
Right.
crazy, they'll possibly give it to him. Or if one of Brandon Graham or Fletcher Cox end up with like 4 sacks for the game, like I think it's because we just have so many weapons. I mean, granted, they always give it to the quarterback majority of the time, but I really did.
Right. That's I mean, because I personally think Jason Kelsey,
That's not happening.
Lane Johnson, them cats should win MVP.
Yeah, that's never
But
happening.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So I'm intrigued by the Kelsey Bowl though. It sounds cool.
I mean, like for their mom, I guess it's a win-win. I mean,
Yeah,
both of your
yeah.
boys in Super Bowl, somebody got to win. So either or, you're gonna be throwing a party at the house for somebody.
That's gonna be a tough party for somebody else though. I mean,
Well,
but I saw this thing that they were like trying to petition for the mom to do
the
the
coin
coin
toss.
toss. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's so dope. Like, I think that would be like
They probably put her out there as a captain. But I mean, either or, I mean, it's a win-win because Travis Kelce has a ring already and Jason has a ring already. So it's not like one of them is missing one. It's just who's gonna get that second. It's kind of like when Eli had two before Peyton got his second. So hey, shout out to the Kelsey twins. Oh, well, actually not twins, brothers.
really.
Man, that's kind of. I mean, that's as a parent, that's kind of tough. You got. I guess you just root for the best man to win, but when you come home, how do you consult the other one?
Right, right. Just be like, you put in your best
Yeah,
effort, son.
especially for Jason, this might be kind of his
I
last.
mean, I think that they grown. They
Yeah,
know the reality of the situation. Somebody got to go home with the L. It's just that's just what it is.
that's the tough
Like
part.
just like they've lost regular games before, when they play each other, somebody got to take the L. So
Absolutely.
it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
But before
Um,
we wrap up the show, we have big breaking news in the NBA world. It started off this summer, then it wind down, and now out of nowhere, Mr. Kyrie Irving out of the blue requested a trade 6 days before the trade deadline. And less than 72 hours, they already found a new destination for him, and that is the Dallas Mavericks.
your Dallas Mavericks.
So it looks like the package is looking like, if I'm not mistaken, Spencer, Finley Smith,
Yeah.
and a first round and a few second round picks for Kyrie Irving.
And Kyrie and Markieff Morris.
Markieff Morris seniors. Yes, thank you. First of all, how do we like this trade? Is this good, bad on a scale of 1 through 10? Would you say it's a maybe a 7, 8 for the Mavs? I guess you don't get worse by adding Kyrie Irving, but for Brooklyn now, I mean it's
Brooklyn might as well hang it up, bro, because there's clearly something about their organization. Don't nobody want to hang out there. I don't know what it is. Now, I mean, obviously the spotlight is more in Dallas than it is Brooklyn here. I don't know how to. I just find it interesting so far.
Well, not to cut you off, but the weirdest thing is in 18 months, well, in 2 years, you went from Katie Kyrie to Katie Kyrie Harden to Katie Kyrie Ben Simmons to Katie
Maybe
Ben
Ben.
Simmons. Well, really KD, because when's the last time? I mean, Ben Simmons sit out just like Kawhi every other night. So I like you said, I really don't know what's really going on in Brooklyn. Like, y'all just had a first round sweep last year, and you got rid of your second star. and then offer on contract.
Um, I don't understand the rationale.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on out there. There's something about this team that people just they're attracted and then they're over it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But again, back to Dallas. Like I like it on paper. It's not terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, Luca runs a lot of point forward. I mean, Kyrie tends to have the ball, but you know what? Kyrie played with LeBron. Kyrie played with a young Jason Tatum, I guess. Kyrie played with KD. Kyrie played with Harden a little bit. I think Kyrie is gonna be okay. I think Luca is. I think it's a bigger adjustment for Luca.
Yes.
Because literally since the time he's been on this team, he has been the only one
Even
worth.
even even overseas when he was before he got in the league, he was a star.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, when he got here, Dirk was there, but Dirk was done, you know. So it's really been Luka's only been the only talent in Dallas since. So, you know, it's gonna be a little culture shock for him. I mean, but granted, I saw you mention this on the group chat earlier. This is giving real Kawhi going to Toronto. Let's just see what happens real quick. I'm just here because I really didn't want to be there. So, you know,
Well,
like
shout out to Mark Cuban because this is the first time he actually put another star next to one of his stars in Dallas. Dirk never had this chance of having a, let's say, top 10 player play next to him at any point in his career like that. Um, the reason why I said it's a pit stop for two reasons. One, I think they want to kind of see if this tandem going to work, and then two, obviously the money. Because Kyrie still says, "Hey, I want 4 years, 198." Not saying Mark Cuban won't give it to him, but I'm pretty sure come the offseason, they're going to be a plethora of teams that's going to be willing to.
yeah,
So,
boy.
yeah,
Who first in line?
exactly. But
Yeah.
it gets interesting because we've not last year, but in years past, we have seen Dallas make it to the Western Conference with just Luka. So if you add Kyrie Irving to
That was
this,
last year, yeah.
yeah, just last year, you add Kyrie Irving to this equation. Not only that, they still have Christian Wood, who's out right now, but he will be back. The West is kind of open. Golden State doing the same thing they did last year, but they're up and down. Denver's playing well, but we'll see what happens to playoffs. Because I still think for them to really top off, they need Michael Porter Jr. to play at the elite level. Memphis is still doing a lot of yapping, and until they get a second star to jaw, I think second round will be their climax every year.
What you talking
And
about, Jaren?
like I said, once you get another star next to jaw, not a fluke one time All Star. Um, and then you got other teams, obviously like the Clippers, who are up and down. Um, you got teams like Minnesota and Sacktown, which I don't believe in. Sacktown will, if they're lucky, they'll make it out the first round. So if I'm Dallas, I made this move and I possibly say, hey, this could be my chance. Like again, a Toronto thing. Luck of the draw. I make a run and my backcourt probably is going to lead me to the NBA Finals. Now, would they win it all? That's here to be said because we gotta see what's going to come out the East. But I can't knock Mark Cuban for taking that chance because let's be real, the Mavericks without that trade was going to be the middle of the pack once again. So even if Kyrie leaves in the offseason, you can at least say, hey, he's got us to a promised land that we have not been to since 2011, which could possibly be the NBA Finals.
I mean, I think Mark Cuban had to anyway because you're gonna run out of time with Luca. You're gonna possibly run his patience thin. You
Absolutely.
know, like you got to put in a real effort in getting him role players. Like if your next best player is Tim Hardaway or Spencer Dinwiddie, it's really not like that's not a plan. That's not a that's not
Not
Robin.
All Star, yeah,
Like you need somebody like an impact player for real. Like Kyrie can change the game completely.
absolutely.
So I think you kind of was left like Mark Cuban, you were on the hot seat, I guess you could say. Now I'm not saying that Luca was about to force his way out tomorrow or anything like that, but at some point the frustration is going to show.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
So
it's what year 4 or 5 right now. So it's getting there.
yeah, at
And he's
some
had
point.
success. Like you say, he went to West Conference Finals last year. You always think about, all right, can we make it to that next step?
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
So
So
are
yeah.
we saying that Luka and Kyrie is probably the most dangerous backcourt in the league right now?
Hmm.
You got Steph and Clay.
I've lost. I mean, okay, let me not say that.
Oh boy, here comes it.
Let me not say
He's about to troll Clay. Here we go for all you Golden State fans.
Look, I ain't got no problem with Golden State though. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in Steph, I trust. Like, don't get that twisted. Clay has been coming on, but ever since coming back from the injury, which I mean, the excuse is okay. I'm not hindering that. But he had a whole lot of wishy-washy going on. So, it made it. And I remember we had a conversation like, to me, Clay was low key tripping, bro. Like, and then because he has the green light, I felt like he was low key a reason why they were taking losses that they took. Like in a way, they won in spite of Clay's bad play a lot. So I might get chastised for that, but I feel how I feel. So but Luka is the best player, I think, among like a lot of people. And so with the addition of somebody as taxing as Kyrie, yeah, I'm trying to think of duos.
You got Darius Garland, Spider. You got Stephen Clay. You got
And we talking backcourt, right?
backcourt, yeah. You got Trey and DeJounte. You got Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. You have
Yeah, I think we can go with Kyrie Luca. Yeah, we can go.
I think it's I mean, you might as well put all 10 slots of ESPN top 10 for the next 3 months for them. Like, think about the show that Luca alone puts on, and now you're going to add another showstopper in Kyrie. I mean, my goodness. But as of right now, if we talking about the straight backcourt, I think they're number one, even over Stephen Clay. Because let's be real, Clay Thompson or Kyrie Irving.
Offensively, Kyrie definitely.
Okay, Luca or Steph this year.
I think. Ooh, that one's tough. Like,
You
hold
see
on,
what
that
I'm
one.
saying?
No, that
So
one's actually hard. I do think Luca's just a better all around probably hooper, only because he has an inside game as well.
mhm.
He gets to the bucket more often, but with Curry being as lethal as a shooter he is, it just makes it like like he's not an okay shooter. He is lethal.
Yep.
So because of that, it kind of changes it. Yeah, get back to me on that tomorrow.
But we'll at least put them at top three. That's fair enough.
Right.
But before we wrap up, where do we see the Mavericks? And let's say May.
Last year, without all of this, they made it to the Western Finals. If the matchup is right,
Or no Tim Hardaway too, by the way.
they can at least make it back to the Western Finals.
Okay.
They can. I mean, because even the year prior, didn't they make it to the second round when they lost to the Clippers or something? And I think they had the Clippers pretty beat. They just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah.
And then they went to the Western Finals this last year.
Yeah.
And pretty much got bullied by Golden State.
And they did okay in the bubble. I think they got to like second round.
See them making it to the third round. I don't see why not.
Can they
I'm thinking about the West. Like they can beat anybody. They can beat anybody. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're definitely going to the finals, but I mean, if they run into if the matchup is right, like I still think the most dangerous team, if healthy, is the Clippers. But
we'll see how they play. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it really depends on the matchup, of course. But so yeah, we'll see.
Do you see Kyrie staying after this summer?
No. I told you this is giving Kawhi Leonard.
Okay. What do you
Just
see?
something to do. Like I said, I'm only here because I don't want to be there. Like, that's what it is.
Where do you see Kyrie's next destination come July, August?
The Knicks? I don't see why
That's
not.
not happening. Because if he wanted to, he would went there in 2019.
I think he does want to find his way to the Lakers, though.
Okay.
And with this player empowerment they got going on, I think they can make it happen. I mean, the Lakers did try to they did their best to make the trade happen, but the Nets opted for Dallas's offer instead. But yeah, I can see Kyrie somehow ending up with the Lakers.
All right. So in about 6 months or so, Kyrie Irving will be in that purple and gold and La La Land with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and whoever else pieces they still have on the books after this offseason. LeBron will still be 38 years old. We'll see if that'll be his last run for a championship run. But it's gonna get interesting. I think this is not the end of it. We have about 4 more days until the trade deadline. There's some other teams that's gonna be making some moves. But the Dallas Mavericks is definitely on the clock. I think it is championship or bust for them this year, making a move that big with Kyrie Irving. I don't knock him for it. Why not? Why not win a championship with the best backcourt in the game and whoever's around you? I think Luka's that good. I saw him play this year. I think he's the MVP this year. Kyrie Irving's playing at MVP level, averaging 30, I think, the past 6 games. So it's definitely something to look forward to, but we'll have to wait and see. Come about May, June-ish, see where they land. But on that note, we'll check back with you guys next
Wait,
week.
hold on, bro. Before you wrap this up, I know there was breaking news about Brady retiring. We didn't really harp on it because, well, he did this last year, and we're just waiting until about September to see if he comes back or not.
Actually, he might give us news after the Super Bowl. And there's word that, hey, the Patriots are recruiting really hard to bring him. So
whoever it is, like we know that typically, whoa, Brady retired.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he took up all his attention last year. Okay, so if he comes back again, we're just gonna be like, all right, cool. Year 24, whatever. So on that note, y'all can play my Mexican music, man. It was a good one, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share, and follow us on all social media platforms. And we check you guys next week. Peace.
Deuces.